Wait, no, don't do it.
Hi. Okay, so little bit of technical difficulty again. Like I said, I'm not good at this, but going back to what I was trying to say about identity development under Kitch and um, his three stages in regards to development from childhood through adolescence to adulthood. We spoke about the first one being initial awareness of differentness, the second being the struggle for acceptance from others, and lastly, the third one is acceptance of themselves as people. So, biracial and multiracial students could often feel, lost in the source as far as where they stand. But once they develop an understanding about themselves, that they're able to see themselves as individuals, unique in their backgrounds, but very, very aware of, how their heritage and their culture and how they were raised and their self expressions and the relationship with peers and all those little things and all those little ingredients, how that merges to make them who they are. And in doing that, recommendations of what we could do for students is, um I think, to be very vocal about, acceptance of diversity and that everybody is different. And not only does everybody have different upbringings, whether it's, of different social classes or, financial backgrounds, or if it's from, you know, being of one race and monoracial and being from, multi races and things of that nature. I think it's very important that we really allow for that self-expression, especially in the arts. Students who are able to hold multiple flags and to really, like, demonstrate that, their hair, whether it's straight or wavy, or whether it's curly, or you know um whether they're pale and in a light complexion, or whether they're, of black African American descent, and maybe, their eyes in the context of, if they're what they look like, and really find the beauty of it and allow students to find that acceptance about themselves, because these students are going to grow. They're going to be mothers and grandmothers, and they're going to have impacts as being a citizen in the community, and maybe even a politician and in the legislature, enacting change for communities. And it's important for them to have an understanding of, who they are, where they come from, and also for them to be able to see the differences that they can make for higher education in the future, and also in their homes, as well. So something that also came to light as far as student services was from, let me just pull it up, was from a document from the online library under the ACPA videos on demand. And this is authored by Project Muse, Today's Research, Tomorrow's Inspirations, by Patricia E. Literati. Journal of College Development, Volume 51, Number 2, from March, April 2010. It's entitled Revising Race: How Biracial Students Are Changing and Challenging Student Services. And this article really sheds a lot of light in regards to biracial identity and where they came from. And it spoke a great deal about the civil rights movement um, and how there was a lot of students who were looked at as being mulatto, or having like black and white descent, and they were discriminated against both sides, especially by Caucasians, who felt that if you had, the old saying is, if you have a black of drop blood in you, then you were automatically black and not white at all, and then the black community would feel that if you have any white blood or any white descent in you, then you weren't black American. So that's kind of what started a great deal of the conversations about multiracial identity, and that, was the civil rights movement, as stated in the article. Was it a smokescreen, or was it just color blindness? Was it something that they were just avoiding having the conversation about, or was it really that impactful that they couldn't move forward with it? So the article speaks to what should we do as far as student services, and it really gave a lot of conversations that in student services we should effectively address race. And it says effectively address issues of race among students and facilitate the development of healthy racial identities. And this is page 121. Um, so I agree with that. However, I do feel that, the issue of multiracial students building their identity isn't about shoving, the concepts of race and what is right and what is not right. And, there isn't a fine line. It's really 50 shades of gray, in the sense that um race has different interpretations. Race is a very wide scale, and we should continue to have more student associations and more peers, and really allow our students to be vocal on campus as far as what they believe in. I mean, it should be a conversation and a dialogue of what you find to be cultural, or what you find to be, not. But I do agree with that. Um, Now, the concept of multiracial and biracial isn't as judged, in a sense, as was it what it was during the civil rights movement. Students could be, you know, whatever they want to be, and it could be very fluid. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that students should really pick and choose what they want, in all aspects of race, identity, religion, and even gender in certain instances. So that's my thoughts about this, and about recommendations for students of multiracial descent in higher education. um, One last quote from our textbook is: there's no evidence to suggest that multiracial students need programs or services different from those that benefit other students who are in a minority in their campuses. In fact, researchers have found that, like other students of color, mixed race students benefit from campus climate that is culturally open and inclusive, with programs and services that acknowledge the differences and similarities among students from all backgrounds. And I agree with that. I believe that institutions have to change to really provide that open cultural climate, and to provide students with the opportunity to explore the racial identities, to give them role models on campus, to really allow, again, more peer-to-peer contact, and host discussion groups. So this way it could be very fluid on the campus and in that campus community, and really to zoom in on discrimination and oppression that are on campuses, so that we could do away with that, to provide a more culturally sensitive community. So thank you very much. I really appreciate your time. Apologies to some of the interruptions at work, at our school, and ignore the Christmas tree in the background, and my coworker is typing away. Hope you all have a good day, and thanks for listening.